Welcome everyone, this is the Rocket.Chat Engineering Podcast. I'm Rodrigo Nascimento, Rocket.Chat CTO and co-founder, and your host on this weekly podcast. Here we talk about the news on the engineering areas from the past week. And I have with me today our backend leader and co-founder, Diego Sampaio.
Hello there.
Our apps engine leader, Douglas Gilbert.
Hey yo folks.
Our cloud leader, Aaron Ogle.
Hello, hello.
Our front-end leader, Guilherme Gazzo.
Hello.
Our mobile leader, Mello.
Hey guys.
And our Omnichannel product manager, Renato Becker.
Hey guys.
So let's get started. And this week we have a change in the order. Diego Sampaio from the backend team will talk first to let us know about the release notes first, so the others will come later. So Diego, what do you have this week to share with us?
This week we are still working on the release, on the 3.8 release, trying to get as stable as possible, We have been testing it on our open server, our community server, where we used to talk internally, within the company, but also with our community. We have reached the 80th release candidate now, so we are on the RC7, and we have found most of the issues we have found on this release, the biggest ones were related to the structural change we have done to support the microservices. We now think that we have found most of them. Actually, on the past days we haven't found any big issue, so we are quite confident that the final release is close. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thank you. We had it's not on the monolith, the objective of this release, but on the microservices itself, we found some issues as well that we are fixing in this release. One of our problem with CPU and memory, where some of the services were down, like if you want to disable presence, and so you do not use the presence services. The other services keep queuing the calls, so we found that on the event we had on our cloud, and it's one of the things that we figured out and solved. The pull request is open right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's that's something that we were running in parallel. So we were testing out the microservices in production already. So we have found those issues as well. But as I mentioned, the main focus for the release is still using the monolith.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope you're going to have a release soon. But as we mentioned on the past episodes as well, it was a really big release. A lot of changes, hundreds of files, and we want to ensure that it's running quite well before cutting the final release. So yeah, let's see. Moving on, Doug from the apps engine, what are the news on your area this week?
Yep, so not many news this week. We've been working on the permission system definitions. We are working on a proof of concept to try and identify some potential pain points that we might find in the future or during the implementation. And we've tested the scheduler a little bit more, changed the APIs so they are more friendly. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. On the permission system, do we have that as public RFC now, or it's just implementation public?
No, we don't have an RFC on that. We should probably get one on these things, but it's like really huge and hard to write down. So we've kind of been trying to avoid writing that much stuff down. But yeah, that definitely we should get to this point.
Maybe you can have the first podcast about a specific thing on top of this. Maybe. You're right. Next one, cloud team. Aaron, what are the news on your area?
All right. So last week, I guess as you already mentioned, and we mentioned last week, is we had an event, and that is actually a wrap. Microservices handled this like a champ. We found a lot of, we have a lot of useful data now for future deployments. So this is a large success. The rebranding, we've finished rebranding a lot of the public-facing services. We have a couple more places that we'll be touching up, but that's kind of a highlight there. The push cap enforcement has been delayed. I think you can now actually see the forum post, but it has been delayed to December 1st. Going into this week, I think we're actually working on the push gateway to support multiple regions. So this actually, as we've talked about before, like trying to get multiple region support in the push gateway, EU specifically. So we're pushing forward towards that, have some proof of concepts that we'll be working on this week. And we're working on several RFCs this week. We've several of our previous RFCs are now actually in the committed status. So it's time to get some more RFCs and more features. I think that's the cloud team.
Awesome. And curious about push gateway, on how that will work. For example, I need to select the push gateway that I want to use, the region, or it will be something automatically choose depending on the IP address. No, how that will work?
So the idea is it actually be both, right? So you could either explicitly say, I want all to go through Europe. So you do something, the final address is still to be decided, but something probably like gateway.eu.rocket.chat or something, or use GeoDNS. So if your server's coming from Europe, it would hit the European. If it's coming from the US, it would hit the US. So the idea is, you'd be able to pick and choose if you want it very explicit, or you can just let the GeoDNS choose the best one for you.
Nice. So if I want to be explicit, I go to the settings and change the address directly. It's not on the cloud thing, right? It's on the server, of course.
Exactly. So keep the control in the users, the admin's hands.
Cool. Nice. Thank you. Right. And on the front end side, Gazzo, what are the news there?
Actually, the backend is not the only team working against the time to finish the release. We are fixing a lot of it's not the right word, but few issues from the rewrite from the sidebars, and we actually some issues are related with the microservice stuff. So sometimes it's really fun to discover which where is the problem, but we are still working. I think we have only two issues open, like the threads. It's not related with sidebar, but what we have open to close the release. Threads lists are being wrongly ordered sometimes, and user presence on the sidebar. Sometimes user appears as offline, but it is because we got too many requests and we just ignored the error. So we are working to fix that. And beyond that, we started to rewrite the header from rooms and start to write all the panels, the contextual bar panel that we have, then moving to React. And also we start to rewrite the info page. The info page was already written in React, but now we have a new design to cover more information and more user friendly for any administrator. And yeah, that's it.
Also, I'm willing to see this server info page done because it will be really interesting. I got a case on this past few days where we're trying to figure out if a server was running enterprise version or not. And it was not that easy. Right? You need to navigate in the settings.
Actually, but just to check the enterprise, usually you can check the tag inside on the top of the sidebar. Usually, if your license has some tag, it will be there. So, but
yeah, for sure. But I guess I was trying to see on an old version that we didn't have the tags yet. But I think that would be really, really good to see. Nice. Just a question on the user presence thing there. Do you know if there's something from the front end calling too much and we're receiving these too many request error, or is something on the server counting wrong this?
Actually, we on the past our sidebar was making like the bounce of, I think, like a second or something like that, and a few users were complaining about that because it looks that something was going wrong because they are seeing the status and after a second change it to the real or current presence. So we changed the value to a value like I think 200 milliseconds or something like that. So sometimes if the sidebar, depending how the handler works, that we can call like 2 or 3 times, then we receive the message and the user gets offline and you don't try again because we just this part that we are like missing, like the hit try, or we should like just put a higher value and we'll fix that. That's why I'm checking right now.
I see. Yeah, probably a good idea to just put back to 1 second or 2 seconds and then see how to fix all those things to be more reliable.
A second is too high because people will still see that the presence change and will ask, "Oh, why am I seeing that?" I heard a lot of people complain about this delay.
I see, but there's a question. We have now a specific presence status for when we are loading, right? A presence.
Yeah.
It's like a circle with a dashed line.
Dotted lines, I think.
Yes. Isn't that enough to people know that it's still loading? Maybe.
I hope so. Yeah. Probably it is better than before. Like people now will see a loading instead of line. So yeah, maybe a second, then people will not get mad because
because you're not show as offline, then turn to green as online. For example, you'll be like loading and then you see it's offline or online. Cool, thank you. So mobile, Mello. So what are the news on mobile this week?
Last week we released 4.12 beta on Test Flight and Google Play, which was public earlier today, so it's safe. Everyone can use it already. We've been just finishing some missing steps like merging master, updating and testing the white label docs, blog post, and etc. This release has support for the new threads with new badge colors and an option to hide messages from the main channel, mentions without background color, channel avatars, a new branding update, just to name a few features landing on this release. You can check the release on the repo or on the upcoming blog post to read the full changelog. We've been also working on a few items for the next version, 4.13, like channel actions, so users will be able to remove users from the channel, set owners, moderators, and etc. It will also contain SSL client certificate on Android. And just a note here, this is a very important feature for security, which was available on iOS for some time already. Depending on the server configuration, the admin might require a certificate to access the content, and instead of installing the certificate for the whole Android system, the user will be able to pin it to be used inside Rocket.Chat app only, and for that server only. So it's really cool. And of course, because besides these features we've been working on, we plan to fix and merge a couple of issues and merge PRs from the community. And the plan here is to release this 4.13 mid-December, and that's it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Good additions. Yeah, I just want to say that the new icon on the experimental app, the blue one, is much better. The smaller icon was a bit strange for me in the beginning, but now I'm liking much more than the previous one. Even on a Apple Watch, where it is like really small, it's much better. It's looking better now for me, at least.
I agree.
Willing to see the red one for the final. Okay, Omnichannel, Renato, what do you have to share?
Yeah, so let me start talking about some integrations. Last week I mentioned that we were looking into some issues on one of our WhatsApp integrations, 360 Dialog. So the good news is that we fixed all of those issues, and a new version of this app is coming by the end of today. So all of those issues are supposed to be gone. And still on 360 Dialog, we are planning the next steps on that integration, and the ability to send templated messages is part of this. And this is a very useful feature. Some customers are demanding this feature, so now it's a good moment to add this improvement to our app. And still on integrations, the team is returning to work on the Salesforce app. We are making progress. The alpha version of this app is now able to fetch and create data in Salesforce workspaces. So we are looking forward for the next steps, and we have the plan to release the first version of this app by the end of this month. On live chat, the other omnichannel entry point, we had to release a new version of the live chat widget. Some customers were facing a very weird UI issue, so they reached out to us. They were complaining, and then we decided to prioritize this problem, and then actually we solved the problem, and a new version of the live chat widget has been released and is coming out with the next Rocket.Chat release. And the last but not least item is that we are working on other omnichannel features, such as the new actually the ability to auto transfer chats based on agent inactivity, but we are still in the first stage, so we still have a lot of work to do, but we are looking forward to get this kind of feature in our product. And yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. We are expanding a lot the omnichannel. That's nice to see happening. Well, I think that's it for today. And just to mention, stay tuned on our jobs page. We're going to have new positions and some news to share in the next weeks. That will be really exciting. And yeah, thank you all for listening this weekly podcast. This podcast is available as video on YouTube and audio on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and others. And thanks for the Rocket.Chat engineering team to make this possible. See you all in the next episode.
See ya.
See you.